Hello everybody, BrioS here, and for you guys today, I thought I'll re-examine one of the old favorites of mine from Pre-Cauldron times and see how it performs in the modern day battlefield. Of course, you guys will probably recognize this as the 55-ton Innes battle mech, the Wolverine, and the variant that I used to play quite a lot was the hero mech, the Quarantine, which they gave it away free a few years back, and it gives you a nice 30% C-build bonus. Mine says 35 because I use the copied items for an additional 5%. So pre-Cauldron, the game was really honestly not that well balanced. The Cauldron only giving advice to PGI from 2021 April onwards, and this is one of the guys that perform well pre-Cauldron because the Wolverine has great mobility, wonderful hitboxes, and the mounts for the torso missiles are generally very high mounted. So I thought I'll see how it does on the modern day battlefield. But before that, let's look at the build I was running. And this is the similar build to the pre-Cauldron times. So it's basically an MRM50, a 30 and a 20 in the right torso, lots of ammunition, 5 tons of ammunition, and great mobility because I actually put in, how many is this? 6 jump jets and an XL300 engine for a speed of 88.4. So maximizing the mobility in terms of the engine and the jump jets, and with lots of missiles, and they're all high mounted like I said, just around cockpit level, so it's great at pop-tarting, smashing the enemy with those missiles. And the problem with pre-Cauldron times is that certain builds were so much better than the others, there was not much point playing other things. So in terms of performance, only a few mechs were viable, and the rest taking them was actually a handicap. And Wolverines, not exactly this variant, but Wolverines was one of them. But right now, post-Cauldron times, I would say that this mech still performs well, but the other builds, the other mechs, whatever they are, have been pushed up to a similar power level. So in a way, this build right now, post-Cauldron 2023 times, actually feels a bit weak, but it's not weak, it just performs at a similar level, just that other mechs are performing well. So the performance gap between this and other builds are, well, a lot closer. And that's good because the objective of the Cauldron is to make all mechs and builds viable again, or at least playable in a certain build. So anyway, just to let you guys know, let's take a look at the quirks for this particular Wolverine here. So this Wolverine, like I said, gives you a 30% C-build bonus. For the missile loadout like mine, it has a missile cooldown of 10% and a missile velocity of plus 10%. Not much, but the niche area of the Quarantine is actually its survivability. Unlike the other Wolverines, it gets a lot of armor quirks. The center torso has 15 and the side torsos get 13 each. The arms are actually offloaded from the weapons, but the right arm actually gets a structure quirk of 18 and an armor quirk of 18 too, making the right arm great for soaking damage. So anyway, that's it. So let's get down to the skills for this very simple build. So in terms of skills, let's look at firepower first. Going for max cooldown because this is a pretty cool build. So you would like to maximize your firepower. And in terms of range, I've got 11 nodes of range for a small boost of 11%. I didn't take the rest because MRM spread too much, and this does not have a missile spread quirk. So once you reach extended ranges, 600 meters, 550 plus, 500 whatever, it just spreads and you're just doing minimal damage, and it's all over the enemy target. So not too effective. With MRMs, you want to brawl at point blank range. So you get maximum missiles onto the maximum of the maximum missiles, the really poor grammar there, hitting the location you want to target. So MRMs, in my opinion, are mainly brawl weapons. They just shave a bit of armor at long range. And because with the sustained fire from the cooldown and the pop-tarting jumping around, I'm getting maximum heat gen skills for a decrease of heat of 10.5%. With missiles like MRMs, you want maximum velocity, so combining the 15% here from these skills with the 10% from the quirk, it has a 25% velocity boost. Not too much, but it's okay. Makes it a bit easier to track the enemy. In terms of skills, for missiles, I've got 2 nodes of missile rack for more ammunition, 2 nodes of missile spread for a 5% decrease, always useful with MRMs like I stated earlier, and 2 nodes of high explosive for 15% additional crit damage when you actually crit. It's more damage, it's always useful. Moving along to skeletal density and armor hardening for the survival quirks. So with this skills, full skeletal, full armor, I'm getting additional 19% for armor and 34% for structure. Since the niche is armor, the armor hardening actually boosts the quirks also. So as a result, I got 76 torso hit points total, armor rather, Combined with the structure, that's 111 hit points. That's not too bad. And the center torso, in terms of hit points, armor plus structure, that's 150. For 55 turner, that's pretty damn tanky. But yeah, with builds like this, unfortunately, player habits normally force me to just rush the enemy. Not too fantastic. Anyway, on to jump jets. For pop tart builds, you always want to get all the lift speed nodes. So that's for 5 nodes, gives you 15% initial jump jet thrust. So you can press the jump jet button, boost up quickly, fire the missiles, and drop down quickly. In sustained combat, you do generate a lot of heat. So 4 nodes of heat shielding reduces the heat by 24%. A bit of spoilers here, a bit of leak. Heat shielding nodes are being examined by the Cauldron right now, so they might actually increase the percentage reduction from the heat, but I think it's okay at the moment, 24%. But more value would be good, maybe 10% per node, we don't know. Anyway, moving along. Yet again, cool run, 5 nodes for 10% additional heat dissipation, so you can do more sustained fire. Heat containment, you don't need it. This is only useful if you are bolting heatsinks, and this build, I forgot to mention, has 12 double heatsinks. So minimal benefit for this, so I'm not using them. I'm not using hill climb because I have lots of jump jets. Hills don't really bother me. Sensor range ECM, just 1 node of radar deprivation for 19% radar deprivation. Other than affecting enemy lock-ons, 1 node will give you the blip 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 sound when an enemy loses its lock on you. So that's why a lot of the veterans actually just take 1 node, just to hear that beep beep. Because you may think you've not been detected, but somewhere out there somebody might have seen you, pressed R, and when they lose the lock, your cockpit sound goes blip 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 blip. That's why I actually got it. So moving along, finally to consumables, just 2 cool shots, because in a sustained brawl you want to stay cool. So yep, just 2 cool shots, simple, don't need a cool shot cooldown. So anyway, that's about it for the quarantine build. It's an old classic of mine. I used to play this a lot, but as the testimony to the effectiveness of the Cauldron making more builds viable, Pre-Cauldron, I played this most of the time. Post-Cauldron, I've got a lot of other mechs to play, and you probably know I love Sun Spiders. But anyway, with that being said, let's watch this quarantine in action in the Post-Cauldron battlefield. So let's go. So here I am on one of the more aesthetically pleasing maps of the game, Hellbore Outpost. And this map, even though it's beautiful, it's kind of boring in terms of gameplay. The ravines are too deep, there are not many ramps, and yeah, all in all, it's kind of linear. But with the jump capability of this Wolverine and the high torso mounts, it's not so bad for me. And unfortunately also, I tend to be a bit too aggressive in this build. In such a situation, nothing will help you. You just draw way too much aggro and you'll die early, despite all the armor quirks of this build. But sometimes you get lucky and you're able to rain lots of damage down on the enemy. But anyway, let's get down to some missile spam action.
Need assistance.
Yeah, calling for a bit of help if I'm tip of the spear. Like I said, way too aggressive. But in this particular match, moving up to support this Snub Irby and just lay some missiles down on the awesome Delta 4-1, Rumble, awesome, and friends. Yeah, able to drop a strike there also. Here. So as the strike lands in that confusion, allows me to rain some missiles on the enemy. I tend to use strikes like that. Not just damage, confusion and stuff. This awesome is even more aggressive than me, and I think it's all lerms. So pop darting over the right side of this hill because my MRMs are on the right torso. Trying to expose myself minimally. That's what pop darting is all about. Reduce the target to the enemy. Of course, walking forward like that is not the best idea. Team is moving up, so we're gonna up the aggression here. Charlie's a Lermbo, Timber. Yeah, get that Lerm Timber's right torso. I so want it. I think walking to me. Yeah, I think that Supernova is a boiler. I hear UAC going off, so probably UAC 20 boiler. So just gonna pull back a bit, let this big boy go in. Or the big boy singular. And it's already 2-0, reaping some rewards here. Echo, really aggressive team. Even the lights are just rushing forward. Then Delta 4 moving, 3-0. Yep, 3-0. Enemies falling back. Got myself a kill. Time to move in. In such a situation where you see the mechs falling back like this, Time to press them, especially with a 3-0 advantage. But be careful of corners like this in case they're holding it, waiting for you to turn around. But the enemy team is kind of surrounded right now. This guy decided to just turn around and fight. It's a krill, so lots of damage at short range. Gotta be really careful. Boiler on your right. Bushwhacker. Brilliant. This boiler's doing well, so I'm trying to support him by engaging the Bushwhacker as he engaged it back in the front. But the enemy bolt or roughneck kills our boiler sadly. Now mechs on my left, mechs on my right. Getting a bit too hot. Gotta be a bit more tactical. This marauder on my left is not doing much, waiting for me to shoot. But he helps me cover my left. 8-4, the game is more or less won.
Target spotted.
Jumping down, using the jump jets to break the fall. I honestly thought I would get that kill. Yeah, but I didn't. That's the problem with MRMs. Lots of damage. MRM50 is 50 damage, but really spreads. There is no pinpoint. Anyway, that guy is kinda caught. Underarm Nightstar. Is that only 4 AC5s? That's like a Jaeger build on a Nightstar.
Target destroyed.
Target spotted.
Yep.
Sorry. Target spotted.
So that's it. As you can see from this part of the game, the jump jets on this build really helps on this map.
Spotted.
Unfortunately, if you don't have jump jets and you fall down, it's easier to just drop down to the center. And if you have jump jets, this map really helps. So that's it. 10-5, 3 caps to their 2. I wonder where the last guy is. Last 2 actually.
25%. Target acquired.
There he is. He probably dropped. He's in the low ground. Oh, it's a very nice Sparky. Caught too. Mine.
MRM at 25%.
And with Bitching Betty telling me my ammo is at 25%, I've probably done a lot of damage.
Well, that's one way to start the year.
And with the last one being a disconnect, I thought I'd just fast forward this section for you guys. And anyway, back to this particular mech itself. As you can see, the insane amount of jump jets, 6 on this particular build, really helps in maps like this. Some maps like Mining and Hellbore and a few others, the jump jets really do help. So might as well just bolt it in. Don't need that much ammo anyway on this build. 5 tons is more than enough. So anyway, as you could see, I'm going around the edges trying to look for the last disconnect. And with it being sighted, I'm just gonna try to secure the kill. Yeah, that'll probably inflate my damage, so a bit of disclaimer there. But why not? So it's a big chunky boy. Might as well pop that since I can.
Target destroyed.
Aw, oops. I accidentally killed him. I didn't want to kill him. Wanted to farm him a bit, to be honest. Yeah, I thought I was shooting a CT front. That's not farming. Anyway, not much farm on the last one, so let's look at the damage output. 1056 damage, 3 kills, 3 KMDDs, and a nice match score of 6-3. So anyway, let's go on to the next match with this build. So right now for the second showcase match, we move to another map that suits this build really nicely, and this is Mining Collective. It's a small map, lots of verticality and lots of clutter being a built-up factory area, and of course builds like this with the jump jets and high mounts really flourish. And in this particular match, I'm taking points in front of the assaults, always way too aggressive. I'm gonna go to the high ground here around the Echo 4M, spot the enemy and make some calls telling the team exactly which grade they are in, because information is ammunition.
Let's
Assaults
only
Delta
one
5.
light.
Target
Yep,
acquired.
assaults are Delta 5. Hatamoto and others. Yep, as per usual, enemies on the other ramp, the Delta 4 ramp. Using this building, ooh, a strike comes in. I can basically pop that and cover the other ramp. It's a nice strong position.
Activated.
Need assistance.
Enemy concentration is Delta 5. They are holding back a bit with a few mediums near me.
Target destroyed.
Mid-air kill.
Oh, the blood has made mistakes also. Delta made a mistake way too far forward.
Let's move.
Pop tutting as he's, well, distracted by the Jaeger on my
Coming from
right.
center. React to this.
So looking at the minimap, we got a nice force holding the ramp here, and a whole bunch of lights rushing off to the right side. The strength of this build, like I said many times, is the pop tart.
Target spotted.
So this building in front of me helps a lot. One skill in pop tarting is doing it when the enemy is distracted by your teammates. Like they die on my right. And of course, as the team rotates, as they always will, it's time for me to vamoose.
Light armor critical damage.
Numihilsa with
Then coming from
the
Echo 4 side low.
roll.
And one is
Orion.
Echo 3.
New target acquired.
Big XL, I'm not gonna deal with him.
Shall we move and kill Delta 6?
Acquired.
Echo 6?
Lots of comms by UX,
New
but
target
we're definitely moving now. With builds like this, you want to go into a position where your jump jets are
acquired.
an asset. Like here, I can cover my rear. Enemy mechs cannot shoot down. I can just pop that and alpha people like this.
25%.
A bit too high there, but I managed to call Bravo.
New target
And Milo takes that kill. Okay, I suppose. 1 cicada here. Oh, another mech.
I'm on Charlie, yeah.
Echo 5, get a heavy
New
please.
target
Oh, they're pushing us from that ramp. Our rear is not covered.
damage.
Way too aggressive. Let me heal C. Left also open. We got 2 heavies plus me here. So yeah, not much of a problem. Tauro goes down. Tauro Gato really good player. So I guess not much support from his team. 6-3. One by one, they're isolated.
More.
This Timber made mistakes. 4 large pulse. Nice build. Low mounts though.
New target
So basically,
acquired.
Charlie Lance is staying together as the enemy YOLOs into us one by one,
Target spotted.
making it a 7-3 victory.
Echo, need help with Echo.
Well, not a victory, not yet anyway. Blow off the arm of that Timber.
Target spotted.
There he is. We're actually surrounded right now, but they don't have the mass to take advantage of it.
Target spotted.
So Max at this Timber, 3v1,
New
not good
target
for him.
acquired.
Always fight the unfair fight. Try to find a situation where that micro engagement, whoever is there outnumbers the enemy.
Clean up the survivors. Need assistance.
And Grumpy voice tells me to clean out survivors. Oh, I made a mistake here. Yeah, a bit too aggressive like I said. Pushing up the ramp. 812 damage, not bad. But the Snub Invictus basically just smashing me at point blank range. Shouldn't have moved up. Just a bit of
Cicada,
reflection
Echo
there.
4.
If you make mistakes like this, don't blame the team. It was my fault I died. I pushed up way too early. I should have gone up as the other heavies at the Crusader,
Target acquired.
moving together,
Target
but I didn't.
destroyed.
Well done.
And I didn't anticipate the Invictus there. Anyway, still a win for my team. And I guess I did quite good damage. 812 damage as I saw earlier. But let's take a look. 1 kill, 2 KMDDs, not too shabby. Nice sweet match score of 590. So that's it, ladies and gents, for this video on the classic MRM Wolverine with lots of missiles, and now with all that armor quirks, it's not too bad. It's tankier than other Wolverines. It's still fun to play. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time guys, I will see you on the battlefield. Ciao.